ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणम् तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिम् यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः।
ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः।
अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः।
अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः।
श्रीभगवानुवाच।
श्रीभगवानुवाच।
श्लोक नंबर 13। अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च।
अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च।
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखः सुखः क्षमी।
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखः सुखः क्षमी।
सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः।
सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यदात्मा दृढनिश्चयः।
मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः।
मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः।
यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः।
यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः।
हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः।
हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः।
अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यथः।
अनपेक्षस्तु
अनपेक्षस्तु
चेदक्ष उदासीनो
उदासेनो
गतं यतः
गतव्यतः
सर्वारंभ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः
सर्वारम्भ
सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो
परित्यागी यो
मद्भक्तस्य
मद्भक्तः
मे
स मे
प्रियः
प्रियः
यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति
यो न
यो न
हृष्यति न
हृष्यति न
द्वेष्टि
द्वेष्टि
न
न
शोचति न
शोचति न
काङ्क्षति
काङ्क्षति
शुभाशुभ परित्यागी भक्तिमान् यः स मे प्रियः
शुभाशुभ
शुभाशुभपरित्यागी
परित्यागी भक्तिमान् यः स मे
मे
प्रियः
प्रियः
समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः
समशत्रौ च
मित्रे
मित्रे
च
च
तथा
तथा
मानयोः
मानपमानयोः
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समः सङ्गविवर्जितः
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु
समस्सङ्गविवर्जितः
समसङ्गविवर्जितः
After that we have seen, but we will read the full chapter. तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित्
तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी
तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्वेणी
सन्तुष्टो
सन्तुष्टो
येन
येन
केनचित्
केनचित्
अनिकेतस्थिरमतिर्भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः
अनिकेतस्थिरमतिर्भक्तिमान् मे
अनिकेतस्थिरमतिर्भक्तिमान्
प्रियो नरः
प्रियो नरः
ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते
ये
एतु
तु
धर्म्यामृतमिदं
धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते
यथोक्तोपासते
श्रद्धाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः
श्रद्धदानामत्परमा भक्तस्तेतीव मे
भक्तेस्तेति
प्रियाः
मे प्रियाः
इति श्रीमद् ॐ तत्सत्
ॐ तत्सत्
इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु
इति
इति
श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु
श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु
उपनिषत्सु
ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे
ब्रह्मविद्यायां
ब्रह्मविद्यायां
योगशास्त्रे
योगशास्त्रे
श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे
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 भक्तियोगो नाम द्वादशोऽध्यायः
भक्तियोगो
भक्तियोगो
नाम
नाम
द्वादशोऽध्यायः
द्वादशोऽध्यायः
from 13th shloka to 20th shloka, like an ashtakam, a collection of 8 shlokas presenting indirectly the values, but directly talking about the jnani, presents the jnani who enjoys or who endowed with certain qualities. So it means those qualities have to be imbibed by a sadhaka. So by presenting, by so many words, the jnanis are talked about through the qualities, what they enjoy. So the quality of the wise person is indirectly talked about. In fact, that is what is the intended. Jnani is praised about. Jnani is talked about. Parabhaktaha, Jnani is talked about. Jnani is Jnani. But Jnani is described in so many words. He is Adveshta, Sarvabhutana, he is Maitraha, Karunaha. It means talking about the Jnani directly and indirectly presents the values, the qualities which the Jnani manifest out of that knowledge. Jnana. So therefore, this description of Jnani directly and description of the qualities which manifested by the Jnani indirectly. So those qualities becomes the sadhana for the sadhakas, as it is done in the second chapter of the Gita. So starting with the 13th Shloka, Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, Adveshtritvam. Adveshta is the person, but Adveshta is Adveshtritvam, the status of being no Dvesha. And Maitraha, friendly. The person is Adveshtri, doesn't have hatred, and is friendly with all, and is embodiment of compassion. Is Nirmamaha, no Mamakara, free from possessiveness, sense of possessions. Nirahankaraha, no this ego, false pride, that Mithya, it is Mithya, he knows it is Mithya. That is gone, and he is, with regard to Sukha and Dukkha, is Samaha, and he is all accommodative. Santushtaha satatam yogi is ever contented. Atmanev Atmana Santushtaha. And is a yogi whose mind is always is one with Ishvara. Yatatma has got complete mastery over the mind, and he has got Dridhanishchaya, clear knowledge. Aham Atma Brahma Jagat Karanamiti, that Nishchaya is Dridham. There is no Samshaya. Samshaya Ragitam, Viparya Ragita, Jnanam, that is Dridha. Mayarpita Manobuddhihi, Mama Ishvare Arpitaha, Manaha as well as Buddhi, the mind and the Buddhi, intellect, or Arpita, directed to me, to Ishvara. That person is, I love him, he is dear to me. And he is not a cause for disturbance for the people, and people also cannot be the cause of disturbance. Either he is not afraid, not people are afraid of him. He is not afraid of people, not disturbed by people, and people also are not disturbed or afraid of him. And Harsha, Marsha, Bhaya, Udvega, Muktaha is free from Harsha, Marsha, and Bhaya. From all this, yes, all these are due to Dvaita, Abhimana. Therefore, free from all this, being Parabhakta, Advaita Bhakta. Therefore, free from all Harsha, Marsha, Bhaya, Udvega, from the force. Udvega, from the pressure, from the force. Only all these are caused. Elation, Marsha, Asuya, anxiety, fear, is free from all. Anaprekshaha, Dakshaha, Udasino, Tatavyata, free from apreksha, free from expectation. He is clean, inside as well as outside. And he is Dakshaha, capable. He is response to the situation. That's a capability. Appropriate response to the situation. Dexterity. He lives in the moment. Not in the past, not in the future. That person is really capable, who lives in the present now. He reacts very objectively, acts objectively, not even react, response. It's response to the world. It's very objective. Dakshaha. Udasinaha is impartial. His action is not based on raga or dvesha. Gatavyataha, all the vyataha, the disturbances, emotional vegetations are gone. It's free. Nothing can disturb him. And Sarvarambha Parityahi, he is free from all actions, given up all actions. He is Sarvakarma Sannyasi. Because from whom the notion of the Mithya Abhimana, the notion Akam Karta Bhokta is gone. So therefore, Sarvarambha Parityahi, what action will he take? Because he doesn't have anything to achieve. Kritakrityaha. No karma karma and no other karmas. Therefore, Sarvarambha Parityahi is the one who has given up all the action. All the actions have dropped from him. Yaha na hrishyati, na dveshti, na shochati, na kankshati. Neither elated too much, not overpowered by joy, nor by dukkham also. Doesn't hate anyone, na dveshti. Na shochati, doesn't grieve, and na kankshati, doesn't desire. No shoka, no icha. Shubha Shubha Parityahi. He has given up all the Shubha Shubha Punya Papa. He has gone above Punya Papa. His actions are not self-centered. That is, actions are around himself, centered around him. It means he's not touched by action. If at all, if he does action, that's only action for the Loka Sangraha. Therefore, by that, he either gain Punyam or Papam. Therefore, Shubha Shubha Parityahi. That Parityaha is not deliberate, it is natural because of Jnanam. And Bhaktiman. He's a real Bhaktiman, endowed with Bhakti. Bhaktiman. Saha. Me Priyaha. And he is Samaha, Shatru, Mitrecha, with regard to enemies and Mitra, is Samaha. It means he doesn't have the idea of the enemy or friend. Who is enemy? Enemy and friend, all these are some labeling. Whom we like, we call our friend. Whom we don't like, to whom we are hostile, enemy. He doesn't have such feeling at all. There is no enemy, there is no friend. He therefore Samaha. Even with regard to the person who has done any harm, he doesn't have dvesha for him. He doesn't look upon him as an enemy. So therefore Samaha, all the time it is Samaha. With regard to the people who does any favor or disfavor, is Samaha. Therefore Shatru Mitrecha Samaha. Similarly, Tata Mana Pavana Yoga, with regard to respect and disrespect also. What this respect or disrespect will do to him by respect, by honor, is not going, this jnana is not going to improve. It cannot be further improved. Similarly, by dishonor, you cannot insult him because Atma is neither subject to respect, neither subject to honor, nor subject to insult, being what it is, being free from all this. Respect, disrespect is all due to Vitya Abhimana. And Vitya Abhimana is not there. Then where is this Mana, Apamana, all this? All these things are only for the Ajnani, not for the Jnani, not for the Parabhakta. Therefore, Tata Mana Yoga Samaha and Sukha Dukkeshu also. With regard to Sukham Dukkham also is very objective. Therefore, Samaha iti and Sangha Vivartitaha, free from all Sangha, free from all association, free from attachment. So his happiness is not dependent on person or situation or object. His happiness centered on himself alone. Therefore, there is no Sangha with things other than outside. His Sangha is only with himself, with Atma only. He is Atma. So after that, see now the next chapter, Tulya Rindas Tirmauni, Santushtaha, Yena Kenachit, the beautiful Shloka. Is Tulyaha. Tulyaha is Samaha ityartaha. So Nindascha Stutischa. Nindastuti. Nindastuti. Itera dvandva. Tulya Nindastuti. Stuti. With regard to that is Tulye. Tute. Tulye Yasya. Mauni. Mauni is Maunavan. Samyatavad. Kashakara is Samyatavad in the Russian. Samyatavad. Mauni is Maunavan. With regard to the Ninda, what is Ninda? Dosha Kartanam is Ninda. See, the Ninda also, the dosham also, if the defects are there, if defects are there, and if a person points out, that is not a Ninda. It is true because doshas are there, therefore defects are there, therefore the person points out these defects you have. But when there is no dosha at all, when there is no dosha, but dosha katanam, that is Ninda. So avidyamana dosha katanam is what is Ninda is. Ninda is criticism. Criticizing for the defects the person has, that is not criticism, it is true because it is there, therefore it is pointed out. But when it is not there, then only it is ninda. Vidyamana doshakattanam ninda. Vidyamana doshakattanam is, it is parivada. Therefore, there is a difference. Dayoho bedaha asti. Vidyamana doshakattanam is parivada. Avidyamana doshakattanam is ninda. For here, ninda, dosha is not there, but still the person criticizes. With regard to that. Similarly, stuti also. Stuti is praising guna katanam. Avidyamana guna katanam stutihi. When those gunas are not there, when a person praises, that means the price is not true. The person has got something to gain from you, therefore he praises you, praises your gunas, which you don't have. That is not a really stuti. But if gunas are there in if people praises, then it is gunakatanam stuti. Here, ninda and stuti, we are talked about. With regard to that, tulye same ninda stuti yasya. Ninda sutyoho samaha nirvikaraha. Nindaya na kupyati, na krudyati, studya na hrishyati. That's what before also said. Na yona hrishyati, na dveshti. By ninda, he doesn't get angry. Ninda, the person doesn't get angry. Person should get angry only when it is not, when it is true, then only the person generally will get angry because a sane person, the person gets angry. When does he get angry? If it is there, there is no point in getting angry. If the person gets angry, that is stupidity. But the defects are there, therefore criticism is done. If defects are not there, criticism is done, then the person will not get angry because defects are not there. Defects are not there, then why should I get angry? Because I don't have those defects. If defects are there, then person criticizes, then I get angry. That is due to mithya abhimana. I have a false notion of myself, so I don't want to be criticized, even though I have all these doshas. So therefore, this person, the jnani, na kupyati, na nindaya na kupyati, na krudyati. So with regard to ninda, he is not angry. He doesn't get angry. He doesn't, na krudyati. Even otherwise also, see, the person who is not a jnani, but a sane person. The sane person, when a person criticizes for the values, for the gunas, which he doesn't possess, the person will not get angry. If the person is really, not a jnani, but he is very objective. Because those gunas I don't have, so still the person talks, let him talk. Who will get angry? Only the ignorant will get angry. The doshas he has, and when person points out, he cannot tolerate because other person is pointing out the doshas, therefore he gets angry. But jnani is different from these two people. Because of jnanam is different. He is nindaya na kupyati, na krudyati, because I being Atma. Therefore, what ninda can Atma take? What ninda can Atma take? Atma cannot take any ninda. Similarly, Atma cannot take any stuti also. So he is above these two people, the ignorant and the worldly wise. That's a jnani. And he is always moaning. Sam yadvak, mitabhashi ityartaha. Moni, maunavan. In fact, when we talk about all these Ninda Suti, when you talk about the Adhikari, in some other places. In some Prakada Grantha we talk about Sak Chandana Vanita iti. When a person is garlanded or when a person is respected. Similarly, when a person is disrespected. So, at the level of speech, at the level of action, and even at the level of thought, the person should be the free from all emotions, not overpowered by praise or censure. He just takes as it is. It is meaningless for that person. Whatever the praise may give, the wise man knows is more than that. Similarly, whatever the censure, it is more than that because he is Ishvara, because I am Bhagavan. So in fact, I only make you do all those things because it is me who is present in every being, in you, in all the beings. Therefore, it is me who is talking. So he cannot differentiate between the two. Not that he doesn't know not that he uh, he has the ability to differentiate. Out of jnanam, there is no differentiation. There is no dvaita buddhi. See, the samaha, the word, tulyaha samaha means it is out of jnanam, not out of inability to distinguish two. It is not that meaning. Samashatrocha mitrecha, tulyarada satirmoni, when we say it is out of jnanam, is equal, is samaha with regard to enemy, with regard to friends. It means this samaha means it is this jnanam is talked about. Not that he cannot distinguish an attacking enemy and a close friend. Of course, he knows who is a friend, who is an enemy, but how he responds. That response is what is denoted by these words, samaha, tulyaha, etc. So therefore, by the person who praises, no pleasing feeling is created. No extra feelings. It is praising, it just takes as it is comes. Similarly, censure also is not elated nor depressed, like a worldly man. Worldly man gets joy when somebody praises, and he's depressed when somebody criticizes. But this person, because being one with Ishvara, so therefore it doesn't create any change in the mind of the person. Such change is possible only when there is a sukham or dukkam which is drishta. Now, where is sukham, where is dukkam for Atma? Not subject to sukha, not subject to dukkha. So therefore the mind of the person, of the jnani, that is why the mind of the person is compared to an ocean, which can take everything. It is already full. It is already up to the brim. Therefore, it can take everything. Whatever the person throws into it, it just swallows. Doesn't create any dent in the ocean. Similarly, the mind of the jnani, like a ocean, therefore, his ninda or stuti doesn't create any dent. Therefore, he is samaha iti, tulyaha samaha iti. This is born of understanding out of jnanam. Not that he can't distinguish the emphasis in the words, the statement of the person who is praising or censuring. Not that he can't distinguish the meaning of the words of the sentence. Of course he can, but doesn't cause any dent in the person. His response is samaha. That is the importance of the word tulya. Tulyaha samaha iti. It doesn't cause any vikara in the person. That's why nirvikaraha. Why is nirvikara? Because he is atma, nirvikaraha. Vikara is possible only in anatma. Only when I have anatma, then only there is vikara, there is elation, there is depression, etc. Aham atma nirvikaraha. No vikara is possible. Nishkriyaha atma, avikriyaha atma. Then where are this depression or elation. Therefore, he is tulyaha, he is samaha. That is one value. The value is samatvam. Samatvam yoga uchyate. And that samaha is now spontaneous for this person. Samatvam with regard to the situation, with regard to the people also. With regard to the people, when he interacts with the people. Because you cannot avoid people being in the society. He has to interact with people. And nobody nobody is free from blame. Nobody is free from criticism. There will be criticism. Even if the person is good, there will be criticism. For fear of criticism, some people will withdraw from doing any good also. Because of sensitivity. This person, Jnani, is sensitive only to Atma Jnana. Therefore, it doesn't bother about criticism or not about the praise. So his insensitivity is insensitive with regard to anatma. Anatma abhimana is not that. With regard to that only, the jnani is insensitive. Because it is not there, it is not true. It's sensitive to jnanam, atma alone. Therefore, being atma. Therefore, all these praises or all these censures, they cannot create any dent in the person. So as a sadhaka, the person when he grows spiritually becomes sensitive, and later when he becomes sensitive to Atma, sensitive to Atma means understanding of Atma. Then that is the stage, that is the end. Once he becomes that, then nothing can affect the person, nothing can touch the person. But in the sadhaka, during the period of this sadhana, the person becomes sensitive. A spiritual sadhaka becomes sensitive. Even for any small mistake, then becomes over repentant. Sensitivity increases. Because from tamas to rajas to sattva, when the person grows, becomes sensitive. But one has to transcend all the gunas. So being sensitive also, it's also not good being too sensitive. One has to transcend. The Jnani was transcended all the gunas. And that Jnani will be sensitive only to Atma, not to Anatma. So sadhaka, it grows in sensitivity in the spiritual journey. But after some time, he has to grow out of that also. Being sensitive. Being sensitive even for a small mistake, inadvertent mistake. Sometimes it creates guilt, hurt. So all these are obstacles also. One has to be alert. And here we are talking about the Jnani, who has grown out of all these things. He is gunatitaha, transcended all the gunas. A tamo pradhana purusha, he doesn't bother about doing harm. And sattva pradhana purusha, of course. Rajo pradhana purusha also. Where sattva pradhana purusha is sensitive to his feeling as well as the feelings of the others. In fact, we begin our spiritual sadhana by trying to cultivate more and more sattva. But one has to transcend that also, because he is also a chain, gold chain. Because the chain is gold. It doesn't make me free. I'm still bound, samsari only. Therefore, to transcend that also. Then the next qualification is Mauni. Mauni doesn't mean doesn't talk. If he doesn't talk, then where will be the teaching? Mauni means his Vak Shakti, his organ of speech is well disciplined. He talks only what is required. Measured talk. He is very economical in speech. He speaks only when it is required. He will not speak unnecessarily. He will not unnecessarily throw words. He will say what he means and speak very little. He means what he speaks and speak what he means. So that is Mauni. That is what Maunam is. Silence. So Mauni, therefore Mitabhashi. Mitabhashine Namaha. That is the Namavali. The Guru Namavali. Yeah, Mitabhashine Namaha. One who speaks. Mita. Mita is economical. Mitabhashi. Mitabhashi. So Mauninaha. Then Santushtaha. Yena kenachita tam santushtaha. Yena kenachita. Whatever he gets, he is happy. Because his happiness is not centered on things other than himself. Therefore, whatever he gets, he is happy. Whatever comes to him is happy. Therefore, he never complains. Santushtaha. Atmaneva atmana santushtaha. Therefore, yena kenachit praptena va apraptena. Yena kenachit santushtaha. Samyak truptaha. Is always satisfied, ever satisfied, well satisfied with himself. With Atma only one can have full satisfaction, not with anything else. Because all other than that Atma, all the things are anatmas. They have the taratamya. Therefore, they cannot give happiness all the time. They cannot give ultimate happiness and also the happiness all the time also. They are subject to change. Therefore, santushtaha yena kenachit, that is possible only when the person is happy with himself, not with what he gets or what he loses or gets rid of. Then aniketaha, niketanam is niketaha, griham ityartaha. Niketaha place, the residence. Niketaha, niketanam. Vidyamanam niketanaha yasya saha niketaha, but aniketaha negative. Avidyamanam, avidyamana niketanaha. So avidyamana niketanaha, avidyamanam niketanam yasya saha aniketaha. Niketa is not there. There isn't have any permanent address, permanent place of residence. Fixed dwelling place is not there. Because he is a Jnani, therefore he is a Paribrajaka, moves around. Therefore, it's not he doesn't have any particular place of residence. Or if a person lives in a house, it's a place, he doesn't have the sense of ownership. Aniketaha. That is also Aniketaha. Not that he must be Paribrajaka. He may live in a place, in one place alone, but doesn't have the sense of ownership. Nirmamaha, Mamakaraha, Nasti, Nirmaha, Nirahankaraha. Therefore, Aniketaha, still you can call him as Aniketaha. Means Stiramatihi, Yasya. Matihi, Buddhihi, knowledge, Jnanam. Yasya, Stira, Drida Buddhihi, Ityartaha. Santakaranam is Stira. It is Dridam. It is firm. Is one who is firm in his knowledge. Matihi means Jnanam. Jnanam of what? Jnanam of Atma. Sitaprajnaha Ityartaha. In other words. So his mind is Stira. Stiramatihi. So all this is the expression of the person. Stiramatihi. So Stiramatihi, Aniketaha, etc. Certain qualities are relative, certain qualities are absolute. So, like Stiramatihi. Stiramatihi's buddhi is stira with regard to the Jnanam Atma. And this person is Para Bhakti Jnani. It's a Bhakti, is a Jnani Bhakta. As we saw, Bhaj. Bhaj means to Sevayam. Bhaja also means to pursue, to gain. So he has gained what he has gained, that is to be gained. Therefore, he is Bhaktaha. And he has got Bhakti towards Ishvara. And Ishvara is not different from himself. Jnani to Atma iva me matam. Therefore, Bhaktiman. Bhaktiman Naraha Manushyaha. He is in Manushya Rupa. Atma doesn't have any Rupam. But this Manushya, now who is in the Manushya form, that Atma is that person. Bhagavan says he is Bhaktiman, Mama Bhaktaha, Mama Priyaha iti. Naraha Manushyaha. Naraha is Manushya. Bhaktiman me Priyo Naraha. That person, that human being is most dear to me. Not only human being, any being. But a human being only can have all these qualities and they are eligible for moksha. Jantunam Narajanma Durlamaha, etc. Therefore, that human being alone enjoys all the privilege. Therefore, Bhagavan says Naraha iti. But there are stories other than Nara, Gajendra Moksha, etc. That Gaja got moksha maybe due to prarabdha. Even though that Gaja is animal. The animals do not have viveka, but still got moksha. There are many stories, Puranic stories. That may be due to prarabdha of that being. So it is only upadhi. Upadhi is upadhi. There are all exceptions. But moksha is possible only through human beings. Therefore, naraha, because being yogyaha for moksha is naraha only. Therefore, saha naraha manushyaha is bhaktiman. So therefore, we should not ask why animals also have bhakti. There are some stories. Yes, there are all exceptions. Because of prarabdha, they have taken probably that particular form. But who were they in the previous janma? That we don't know. So it is not just an accident that Gajendra got moksha. There must have been some previous story, previous karma. But here Bhagavan says, Naraha, Taha Naraha, Manushyaha, is Bhaktiman, is Mama Priyaha, is Mama Priti Vishayaha, Mama Premashtayaha iti. Is loved by me, is dear to me. Iti. Up to this, the Jnani was talked about through his qualities. Now, the last shloka, where in the Bhashyam Shankaracharya says, all the attributes which have been listed, this wise man who has all these attributes, who have this clear knowledge, that person in whom all these values and all this are there, that person endowed with knowledge, that person is Mama Tivra Bhaktaha. Tivra Bhaktaha, Tivra Jnani. Bhakti and Jnanam are not different. It is that Para Bhaktaha. That Bhakta is Para Bhaktaha is the Jnani. Finally, it is concluded by Bhagavan here. That person who has got clear knowledge, that person is my Bhakti. Bhaktaha, Para Bhaktaha. The one who has all these values, that person is Para Bhaktaha, meaning that person is not different from me. Para Bhaktaha is Jnanam. Para Bhaktaha Advaita Jnanam, Advaita Bhaktaha. Para Bhakta is Advaita Bhaktaha. Advaita Bhaktaha, there is no Bhakta, Bhagavan Bhakti, difference is not there. Then it is Advaita Bhakti. Advaita Bhakti is Jnanam. When it is Jnanam, then Bhagavan, where is Bhagavan? Bhagavan, Bhakta and Bhakti, all these have become one. Therefore, there is only being that is finally Bhagavan says that person is my dear, means is me, is myself. Jnani tu atmaiva nematam iti. Bhagavan has said before, the same thing. That this chapter is concluded. So ye to dharmya mrita vidham yatoktam paripasate. Yata uktam uktam anatikramya. Yaha tu dharmyam. Ye to dharmya amritam ide. Dharmyam amritam idam. Ye to dharmya amritam idam yatoktam paripasate. Shaddadhana Shaddadhanaha matparamaha bhaktaha te ativa me priyaha. That person is exceedingly loved by me. Ativa me priyaha. Exceptionally, exceedingly beloved to me, that person. Bhagavan says exceedingly beloved to me. Then the bhakta must be not different from me. That is the meaning. Parabhakti. Parabhaktaha, parabhakti, advaita bhakti, advaita jnana. So therefore, dharmyam amritam. These values, dharmyam, the qualities, the attributes, hetu, dharmyam, and that is amritam. All these attributes, the values, what we talked about, starting from Adveshta, Sarvabhutanam, Maitraha, Karunaha, Evacha, Karunaha, then up to the Stulyaninda Satadmoni, Aniketaha, Siramatihi, Bhaktiman, up to that, Yatha Uktam, Dharmyam, these are all Amrita. All these are Amrita, nectar. The values which they manifested, the virtues which they manifested are Amrita. Why they are Amrita? Because Amrita Sadhanatvad Amritam. Because it is a sadhanam for Amritam, moksha. Therefore, it is called Amrita. And it is not against Dharma, therefore, Dharmyam. Yatha Uttam. Uttam is from the 13th Shloka up to here. Utta Uttam. Paripasate. Who does Upasana? How do we do Upasana of these values? To imbibe it and follow it. Therefore, those who follow these values, this Dharmyam, which requires the attitude, what Shraddhadanaha, with complete understanding, with complete Shraddha. Shraddha, that these values leads me to moksha, the destination. Dharmya, Shraddha. Shraddha in the teaching, Shraddha in the Shastram, Shraddha in Bhagavan. Shraddhadhanaha, endowed with the Shraddha. And Mat Paramaha, they have got no other commitment, no other goal other than me. Therefore, they are Moksha Purushati. They have got clear Purushata Nischaya. So Mat Paramaha, they have commitment only for me. They, Bhaktaha, they are Bhaktas, they are devotees. Ativa me Priyaha, they are exceedingly beloved to me. Me Priyaha, Ativa, the word is used only here. Jnani to Atmai Meotam, as said, Bhagavan has said before. Jnani is myself. But here he says, Ativa me Priya, exceedingly. What is this exceedingly? Exceedingly. Ativa me Priyaha iti. So, Ativa Bhaktaha. Bhaktaste Tiva me Priyaha. That Ativa is not commented, but Ativa is nowhere it is used. Only here it is. Bhagavan as uses his word Ativa me Priyaha. The one who follows this Dharmyam, Dharma Tanapetam, Dharma Yuktam, these values, that person, Ativa me Priyaha, Mama Ativa Priyaha, Tirama Deepsitaha, Paraprema Vishaya. You can take Paraprema Vishayaha. Paraprema. Ativa me Priyaha is Paraprema Vishayaha. Paraprema's Padam in the Pajandashi we saw, which is Paraprema's Padam. Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. Atmanastu Kamaya Eva Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. Therefore, Paraprema's Padam, that is Ativa me Priyaha. They are exceedingly beloved to me means Atma is what exceedingly beloved to everyone. Therefore, Atma is Paraprema's Padam. Everything is done not for the sake of doing or for the sake of other person. It is done for the sake of, it is purely done for the sake of myself. It means Atma is Ativa me Priyaha. For everyone, Atma is exceedingly beloved. That is what Bhagavan also says here. Atma is exceedingly beloved. Therefore, Bhakta is exceedingly beloved to me. Because Atmanastu Kamaya, Bhakta and Bhagavan, there is no difference. Therefore, Bhagavan says, this Bhakta is extremely beloved to me. We love a thing because, not for the sake of that object not for the sake of the object, or not the other thing, not for the sake of some other person. We love because of self-love. Bhagavan says, Atibhame Priyaha means Bhagavan doesn't distinguish between the devotee and himself, the self, Atma. So therefore, Atmanastu Kamaya. So the Atma and Bhagavan, they are not different. Therefore, Atibhame Priyaha Parapremaspadam. Atma is Parapremaspadam. Therefore, Atibhame Priyaha Paraprema Vishayaha iti. Te is Bhagavachanam. They are, those people are, those jnanis are Parapremas Atmatvat. Because they are Atmatvat, they are not different from me. Ishwarat Abhinatvat. Atibhame Priyaha Paraprema Prema Padatvat. Parapremas Padatvat. Parapremas Padam, the word which we saw in Panchadashi, can be called Paraprema Vishaya. Paraprema Aspadam. Therefore, Parapremas Padatvat, Atibhame Priyaha. In other words, Atmatvat. Atmanaha Abhinatvat. Swasmat Abhinatvat. Ishwarat Abhinatvat. Ativa Priyaha. Me Priyaha, Mama Priyaha, te Bhaktaha. Jnaninaha. Jnaninaha, Mama Priyaha iti. With this, this 12th chapter, which is named Bhakti Yoga iti. The topic is Bhakti. Bhakti is Jnanam only. So there is no difference. Bhakti has got different stages. In the beginning, there is Bhakta Bhagavan, that Bhava is there. When that Bhava is resolved in Jnanam, then it is pure Bhakti. In fact, that is what is pure Bhakti, matured Bhakti. That is Jnanam. So that is the topic of this chapter. So it started with Upasana, in fact. It started with a clear distinction between the Bhakta and the Bhagavan. Bhakta is there, therefore he entertains Bhakti towards the Bhagavan. But finally it reduces into Advaita Bhakti. So that is the Bhakti, that is the yoga, that is the topic, which is in the form of Krishna Arjuna Samvada, dialogue between Bhagavan Krishna and Arjuna. And that is the Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu, in the Bhagavad Gita, which is Upanishad. Dharma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre, Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, the form of dialogue between Bhagavan Krishna and Arjuna. This chapter, Bhakti Yoga Nama, Dvadashaha Adhyayaha Samaptaha. So Dvadasha Adhyayaha Samaptaha is concluded. So from the 7th chapter up to this chapter, it is Madhyama Shatkam, therefore Madhyama Shatkam is concluded, and the topic of this Madhyama Shatkam is Ishvara. Tathuttvamasi is a Mahavakyam. Tvam-pada Vichara done in the Prathama Shatkam. So in the Dvitiya Shatkam, Tat-pada Vichara. Tat-pada Vichara, Tat-swarupa Vichara. So that is Ishvara Vichara is done. Ekat Karanam Brahma Ishvaraha. And Ishvara was presented as Ishvarupaha. Ishvara is Jagat Karanam, and it is Ishvarupa Ishvara was presented in the chapter, 11th chapter, Vishwarupa Ishvaraha. And in the 8th chapter and before this, the 7th chapter, Ishvara was talked about. Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti iti. So all these places, the topic of Ishvara was seen. So therefore, since the Ishvara is the main topic, therefore this Madhyama Shatka is, it deals with Tat-pada Vichara. It is the topic of Ishvara. So up to this 12th chapter. So here the chapter Bhakti is talked about. Bhakti towards whom? Towards the Lord Ishvara. And who is that? What is Swarupa of Ishvara? Swarupa of Ishvara is Atma, which is not different from oneself. That is the Ishvara. That is the topic of the Madhyama Shatkam. So it is done. It is completed. Then Sarava Shatkam, which starts from the 13th chapter. 13th chapter, where we are going to see the 20 spiritual values. Before going to the 13th chapter, we will see the summary of this chapter then maybe in the next class. After that, we will get into the 13th chapter, which forms the first chapter of the Charma Shatkam, last 6th chapter, whose Tatparya is Aikyam. So, Tvam Tat Asi. Tat Tvam Asi. If you put Tvam before, and Tvam is the Pratama Shatkam, Tat is the Madhyama Shatkam, Asi, Aikya Padartha, and that is the topic of the Charama Shatkam, the last of 6 chapters that we will see in the next class. After seeing the summary of this chapter, summary is simple. Just time not there, therefore we will do it in the next class. This is the smallest chapter. It's good to start memorizing Gita with this chapter because this chapter is small. And 15th chapter, of course, it is always chanted before Bhojana. So 12 and 15 and second chapter. These 3 chapters, at least one must memorize. Other chapters, of course, third chapter also important, fourth also important, fifth also, and sixth. 7th, 9th chapter, yes, very important. So all these chapters are important chapter, but to start with 20th chapter, smallest chapter in fact. It is the smallest chapter. Only 20 shlokas. But I also started memorizing Gita with this chapter only because it was smallest, number was less. So you'll have, the sense of knowing one chapter at least full. So this chapter, please memorize this chapter. We'll continue the 13th chapter in the next class. Om Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stanvanti Divyai Stavai Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadai Yaganti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam Navidusura Suraganaha Evahya Tasmai Namaha Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Dhanyavadah.
Dhanyawada, Sharanji. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Dhanyavadah.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ji.
Maybe next week class may not be there or Navratri starts. Let's see.